Kia ora and welcome back to my channel. My name is Becky. If I haven't met you before, hello and welcome. Today we're going to make a propagation box together. So I've made this propagation box once before and I followed Betsy Begonia's tutorial on how to do it on her channel, so I will link that video below. It's a really great watch. And I have a few adjustments that I've made to mine which have really worked for me. I've been using it for about a year now and I really love it. I will give you a tour of what's in that propagation box at the end of this video, but today we're going to make a second one because I need more space. I need to grow more things. So let's get into it and I'll show you what I'm going to do. The main thing you need for this DIY is a plastic storage box. So I've got one here. It's glowing because of the sunlight, which is just beautiful. What we're basically going to do is tinfoil the inside. I'm going to have a lamp up here and we're going to put our plants inside. But there's a few more things we need to do before we do that. Okay, number one. Plastic storage box. We also need a lamp, just a regular lamp will do, whatever works for you, a reel of tape or duct tape, a marker pen, permanent or semi-permanent, whatever works for you, aluminium foil, tin foil, aluminum foil, whatever you call it. I've got the heavy duty stuff so that it's not going to rip too easily, and a light bulb. And the light bulb is actually really important. Now this light bulb is going to grow my plants. It's going to give life to them. It's not a grow light by any means. It's just a regular light bulb. It's just got higher lumens and a higher wattage than a regular light bulb. So the specs for your light bulb, I got this for 16 bucks from my local hardware store. It needs to be an LED light bulb. It needs to have 1600 lumens output, and it needs to have a 6500 Kelvin color range. So I basically just copied what Betsy Begonia had for her light bulb and got my own. So that's going to fit in that light bulb. We're good. The last thing we need, and this is different to what Betsy used, is something for the pots to be elevated from the bottom but also will allow water to drain through. And what I found was this material from my local hardware store, and it's basically called stone stabilization paver. It's a bit dirty because I've been using it, but it is this honeycomb plastic material that people use to put pebbles in so that you can make paving stones, but it's actually perfect for what we're going to do in the prop box because we pop it in there, the pots sit on the top, the water drains to the bottom, and you can put your pots, you know, they can sit anywhere on it. It's perfect. So I highly recommend grabbing some of this. This one's by the brand called Certex, and you can get it from, if you're a New Zealander, you can get it from Mitre 10 for $10.35 for a big sheet of it. So I think I got 2 propagation boxes out of this one sheet. So pretty good. You need something to be able to cut a hole in the top of your propagation box. Now that was the hardest part for me last time. I really struggled to cut the top of the box. I think Betsy may have used clippers, like wire clippers, but I actually ended up using a craft knife and then heating the blade up with a freaking lighter and like trying to cut this thing out of the top. So today what I'm actually going to use is, like, you guys aren't going to have this, but you'll just have to figure out how to cut the hole in the top. If you have any suggestions, please put them in the comments because I struggled with this last time. So I'm going to use this. It's a wood burning tool, but it actually comes with a knife. So I'm going to use the knife that heats up to cut the hole in the top. So this lamp's going to sit on the top. Basically I want a circle cut out at the top here. So all I'm going to do is trace me a circle with this is actually a whiteboard pen. My circles end up being off to one side slightly, and that's okay because I want space for the lamp to sit down on it. That's basically the circumference of the lamp, and that's to let some humidity escape from the box and some of the temperature to leave, because you don't want it to get too hot in there. You kind of want it around 22 degrees Celsius. Yeah, so that's our first mission, to cut this hole. I'm gonna hate it. Let's do it. I honestly hate cutting the plastic so much that I've been putting this off for the longest time because I really didn't want to cut this plastic. Oh, here we go. Yes, it's starting to work. That was so satisfying. We did it. It was actually pretty easy with the wood burning kit. If you, I'm gonna turn that off. Don't breathe in that stuff. Don't breathe that in. Just because it's a little bit rough. So you don't wanna be damaging yourself on those sharp corners. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of duct tape around the edge. You can smoke elsewhere. Might actually make it smaller strips. Just like this, just so that your fingers don't, oh, can you see that? Sorry about the sound. I'm just putting it around like this so that you don't cut yourself on any sharp bits of plastic. So how you guys doing? You been doing good during your social distancing time? It's a scary time at the moment, so I hope you're all doing well and looking after yourself and your loved ones, because she's rough out there. Alright, so I've just duct taped the circle just so I don't cut myself on those sharp edges. Cool. Let's get to the next part, which is going to be tin foiling the inside of this. Not the bottom, just the sides. I'm just placing it in one side like this, and I'm going to duct tape the edges, the top and the bottom. Basically the tin foil is going to make the light at the top reflect as much as possible onto the glass. One side tin foil. The inside of my box is now tin foil on all four sides. This honeycomb plastic stuff, I'm going to put it in the bottom. Now I've pre-cut this so that it fits perfectly in here. You might want to do that before you tin foil. Sweet, so now that's at the bottom there. Honeycomb, awesome. And that's going to hold the pots off the ground so they don't sit in their own water. My box here is almost done. There is just one more thing that I'm going to add to it. So this is a little temperature gauge thing that also tests the humidity. And you can get them on Amazon, or I got mine from AliExpress, eBay, that sort of thing. And you can stick them inside your box. So this one is the one that I used to have sitting in one of my boxes, in one of my propagation boxes. And as you can see, it's just a regular humidity clock, like so. And what I found is that if the humidity got too high, the humidity actually got inside the box and it started to freak out. What I'm gonna do is use this kind of humidity gauge, sorry, not humidity gauge, temperature gauge. Now this one comes with a little what would you call this, a little probe that you can put inside the box and leave the actual unit on the outside of the box. And that means that this unit is not going to get messed up by the humidity in the box. And I already know how to tell if the humidity is too high, so I'm not too worried about that. But if you're a beginner and you do need it to tell you about humidity, maybe you should go with this. Just know that if you put it in the box, it might start dying eventually. This is just going to tell me the temperature, and I'm happy with that. And then this cord with the probe on it is going to go in the inside. The bulb is going to go in here, and it's going to light up my box. The one thing I forgot to mention was that I have this light on a timer. I have it on a timer for 16 hours a day, so that my plants get the max amount of sunlight or bulb light that they need, and I don't do more than that because they actually do need to sleep at night. So you can get those little controller thingies from Mitre 10 as well. Alright, now I'm going to show you the propagation box that I've been growing for about a year, and I will also put plants into this one and I'll show you what that looks like. The other thing I do in winter, I take these little wheels on the bottom of this, I take them off and I pop this whole box on top of a heat mat. Now the heat mat goes on the underside, on the outside of this box. It does not go inside the box, it goes underneath the box. So all it does in winter, it just gives it a little bit of heat so that the plants can stay at that prime optimal temperature, about 22 degrees Celsius. Whatever that is in Fahrenheit. I'm only doing this for the Celsius folks. I really love this stuff. It's so good. So this is my probe that's in there for telling me my temperature. My tinfoil. So I'm going to grab this is a zigzag cactus that I'm propagating. So you can go sit in the corner. And one thing I highly recommend is with these propagation boxes, use square pots because you'll be able to fit more pots in than if you use round ones because they won't butt up to each other. So I highly recommend square pots. Obviously I'm not perfect. I don't have I've run out of square pots, so this isn't a round pot, but you can imagine how perfect that would be if it was a square pot. This is a Hoya Nicholsonii leaf, which I'm trying to grow. It's got no stem on it and it's got roots, teeny tiny little roots, so I'm really trying to grow a plant from a single leaf, which I've heard can be done. It's hard, but it can be done. This is some Hoya seedlings I was just sent by a friend down in Christchurch. Thank you so much, Viv. She sent me some Hoya serpent seeds, and so I've started them today in wet sphagnum moss, and we'll see how they grow. I'm just going to put them in there as well. And I've got a Hoya lacunosa that my friend rooted for me, and I think it's used to high humidity, so I'm going to pop it in this box, then slowly acclimatize it to the outside world. And if I want to water, I'm just going to show you what I do for watering. I literally just water, and it leaks straight out the bottom into past the honeycomb and into the bottom tray here, and then it also becomes humidity, which helps the plants grow. Cool, there it is, sitting on the bottom there. I haven't actually taken out the wheels. I should probably do that. And the heat mat is just under there like that, and I'm going to pop the lid on and a light. Here's my lamp with my special light bulb, and it is seriously bright. That's why I have these in my spare room, because no one wants to look at that. Ugh, it's disgusting. This is where they're being run off. This is my timing machine. My time machine. This is my little timer, and it turns off every night at about 10 p.m. and lets the plants go to sleep, and then it turns on at about 7 or 8 a.m. Alright, let's show you what's inside this propagation box. This is my other propagation box. Sorry about the mess, this is my spare room. So this is all sewing stuff and storage. This is the current temperature inside. It says out, but that means that's for outside, which it assumes you're putting the probe on the outside of your house. So that's the actual temperature inside the box, which actually is pretty high. I would kind of want it more around here. So what I'm going to do is open the lid. Yeah, so that just gives me an idea of what's going on the inside of the box, so I can decide whether to open the lid or not. So these are my pride and joys. This is a alocasia friedic, which lives his life in here because he likes humidity, and if I take him out he'll get spider mites. So he takes front and center. I'll take him out now. What else do we have in here? This is my variegated monstera. That light is so abrasive. And I just noticed that it's got this brown spot, which is not great. It hasn't done much for a long time, so please don't die. Another Kyrie cutting with a long peduncle on it. This one rooted real quick, so it's already got like real firm roots. I think I took the cutting like 2 weeks ago. This is my pride and joy. This is Hoya numelarioides, and this is going to be a trade for a friend of mine. And it's just a growth tip, and you can see that there's quite a healthy, nice, healthy root there, and 2 little baby leaves. And that rooted within like a couple weeks of being in this propagation box. It roots so quickly. This is a whole pot of variegated chain of hearts, and I'll be selling these, New Zealand only unfortunately, once they're all rooted. I love this peperomia. It's got little baby leaves everywhere. So heckin' cute. I've got a couple of Micans cuttings here. They're gonna be swaps for some Brazil cuttings. I've got a Pothos Enjoy or Glaciers or whatever you can call this, I don't know. This is my Clarinervium, Anthurium clarinervium, and it's got such beautiful leaves. You see the shine on that? So pretty. This is my Mother Crystallinum. Look how big this leaf is though. And with a new leaf coming out. It's starting to get its like lobes, which is real nice. And you can see that this leaf is a different colour. That's because it's a new one. It hasn't hardened off yet. Super, super pretty. If you look closely down here, you can actually probably see that this crystallinum is actually 2 plants interwoven with each other, maybe even 3 plants. I think it's cute like that. It makes it look bushier. Oops. Back here is another crystallinum. It's behind its mum plant. We've got a monkey mask, Adansonii variety that's struggling along there. Now down here we've got a watermelon peperomia, variegated chain of hearts that I've just smushed into this other watermelon peperomia pot because of current circumstances in the world, aka the virus. I can't actually buy more pots, so I'm kind of limited. This is a Crimson Princess. It looked like it was reverting, but it should be fine when it grows out new growth. This is a tiny little Crimson Queen. I don't know if it's going to survive. It doesn't look so good. Bigger Crimson Queen there and a Crimson Princess in the same pot. This is my newest plant and my pride and joy at the moment. This is Hoya acuta, and you do not want to know what I paid for this one. Oh my gosh, quite a rare one in New Zealand. It's so cute. cute though. I shouldn't be touching it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to touch you again. And this is also my pride and joy. This is a black gold philodendron or a melanochrysum. And I really need to find something for him to grow on because he's kind of just... he's searching, but he can't find anything. But yeah, I'll find a pole for this one at some point. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you liked that propagation tour / propagation box making, and let me know if you make one yourself and what you're growing in it. I'll see you later. Bye. Make sure you check out the link below for these earrings. They're made in New Zealand they were designed by me, and they're made at my workplace, so support local. Bye.